Hello everyone, welcome back to MalStorm Gaming. My name is Malika Gardner, and today I'm going to be finishing my playthrough of Dragonfire by Castleless Games. I hope you all enjoy the video.
Alright, so last time we left off right after the second scene's short rest, so now we're going to be able to go right into the third scene. So our characters both have 6 health left. The half-orc fighter started with 10 and now he's down to 6. And then the human wizard, he never took any damage last game, or last video rather, and that is very good. We also have some really cool cards in our hand, like this heroic charge for our fighter, or we have spiritual weapon and confusion for our wizard. We just have a lot of really cool stuff that we're going to be able to use to try to get through this final scene. Also, to make matters even better, the Dragonfire level is still 0, and we also have not yet used our features. We can still use these, so the wizards, once per game, during your turn, exchange 2 colorless damage for 8, and then the guild artisan for the fighter does the same thing, except for red. So we're going to be able to use those if we need. So we have a lot of added flexibility with that, and we just have one more wave of monsters that's going to be coming at us. So let's just refer to this Dungeon Crawl Adventure sheet to see how many monsters we're drawing. So it's number of characters plus 2 for the third scene. So that's what we're doing. They're all going to be from the level 1 deck because we have, again, no cards in the Dragonfire discard pile. So we're going to take 4 cards right there. And then, like usual, the first one is going to be going in front of the player whose color matches it. In this case, this is a green monster, so it's going to go in front of the wizard, who is substituting as a green character. And then the rest is just placed in a clockwise order. So now we have swarming zombies, another swarming zombies, and then cursed ground. So we actually have a lot of swarming undead. And a lot of these actually have different effects that go into play as soon as they are drawn. So let's go through those in the order that they were drawn. So first with the swarming skeletons. This has some tokens, so he has 2 tokens that each require 1 colorless damage to be dealt to it to defeat it, and they each do 1 damage. So we'll take 2 tokens, and since he is a green encounter, we're going to take 2 green tokens. Place that on him. And then both swarming zombies each have 1 token that requires 2 colorless damage and does 1 damage. So we'll take blue because those are blue. So for all intents and purposes, these tokens are also blue, and they're the same color as the card that spawned them. And if we were to move them by, for example, the heroic charge here, the tokens would also move with the encounters. Then we have the cursed ground. Now this one has 2 effects that take place immediately. First, since it is a location, the fighter's going to have to move there, so we're going to take his little pawn token and place that there. Then we also have a surprise effect, and it says you discard 2 cards. So that is very nasty. So since we only have 3 cards in our hand, I think it'd probably be best to discard these 2 because the heroic charge is very powerful. So I think I want to keep that. So we'll discard those. Then the round is going to begin, starting with the Dragonfire card being drawn. Uneasy pickings. A quiet step, the softest touch, as hard-won treasures slip your hold. All lost, forgot, or set aside, for all that glitters is not gold. So as a persistent effect, the gold value of each defeated encounter decreases by 1 to a minimum of 0. Okay, then we are going to start playing with the fighter's turn. So I'll play this as an assist and play this card right here. The heroic charge will bring over the swarming skeletons. So I'll bring that over along with the 2 tokens. Then on the deal damage phase, actually first the wizard gets to draw a card. So I'll shuffle up this deck right here, and then we will draw a card for the wizard. Shuffle it up a bit. Alright, so draw a card, and Cloud of Daggers. Ooh, that actually will change some things. So it's actually good that I'm not moving into the Dragonfire phase, or the damage phase, rather. Really good I'm not going into the Dragonfire phase. So we actually have a chance to now play this Cloud of Daggers, because it's as an assist there. Yeah, that'd be interesting. So what we could do is we could actually play it on the Soaring Skeletons to remove these 2 tokens, which would prevent a lot of damage. And the reason we could do that is because the tokens each have, they just have 1 level, 1 colorless level of 1. So if we played the Cloud of Daggers as an assist, it would reduce their colorless levels by 2, which would kill them both. So he'd be dealt 7 damage right now, the half-orc, so he'd die right now if we didn't do anything. Or rather, he'd become stunned. So he'd become stunned if we didn't do anything, because he's going to be dealt 7 damage. So I do think I want to play the Cloud of Daggers, and I will discard these 2 tokens, because they are defeated. And there are no colorless levels to reduce on this, so that's not going to do anything. But then we're going to move into the deal damage phase, and we are going to target this cursed ground with everything we have. So the spiritual weapon will take down the first 3 levels, and then the heroic charge will take down this level right here. Then the enemies are going to go, and they're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 damage. So he's going to go down to 1 hit point. A bit of a risk there, but hopefully it pays out. So now we're going to draw our 2 cards, because we have no cards in hand, and we have a Grace and a Glory. Then we have 1 gold to spend, and the cheapest card here costs 3. So we're going to have to discard a card, and I think I'm going to discard this Big Finish. I don't think there's any chance of us being able to purchase this, because it just costs so much. So the next card is a Lightning Bolt, which is also very expensive. It costs 7, and it requires an arcane play. So when you play this card, before on your turn, you must have played 1 other blue card. So we could play Confusion and then Lightning Bolt, or a Cantrip then Lightning Bolt, any card, but you have to play 1 blue card before you are allowed to play Lightning Bolts. And then just deal 2 consecutive levels of damage to an encounter. That's very powerful, but again, it's also just a bit expensive for how much gold we have right now. But we have been able to get some pretty good cards. So now the wizard's going to go. First thing he's going to do is move into the cursed ground. So now the cursed ground is essentially in front of the wizard. So at the end of the wizard's turn, after he has played and dealt damage, the cursed ground will also deal damage to him. But he's going to play Grace, which will defeat the cursed ground, so that won't actually happen. So I'll play that. Then I think that I will play this card on the Swarming Zombies right here, and that will take out this token right here. Then I actually think that I'm not going to play any more cards. I think I'm just going to wait. So deal damage. I'll take out this token here with the Confusion, and the Confusion does have a ability that can cause humanoids or giants to attack each other, but as we see here, it's all undead monsters, and then the cursed ground is a location, which is not any type of monster. Then the Grace will defeat this. Our tokens will be placed back on the adventure environment, and then we'll get 5 gold, minus 1 because of the uneasy pickings. So we'll each get 2 gold. Then the enemies in front of him are going to attack him, so that's just going to be the Swarming Zombie with 2 damage. So that'll be 4 damage right there. And now he has 2 cards in his hand, so he's going to draw 2 cards, and we have a Cantrip and another Spiritual Weapon. Now, with these 2 cards I just drew, that will allow me to take down this Swarming Zombie, so that'll be good. Now, it is at the end of the round, so the Dragonfire card is going to be discarded, and the next card is going to be revealed. Goblin Uprising. A wild cacophony of screeching echoes around you as shadows jump and flicker by torchlight. A reeking odor of blood and carrion heralds their arrival. Place 1 humanoid, black token, and it has 1 colorless level of 0, or one colorless level of 1, and it does 1 damage in front of each player, and then has some Dragonfire effects that they do not apply to us because the Dragonfire level is now 1. So we'll take these 2 tokens. Real quick, I just forgot that the wizard would have been able to spend gold, but I forgot, and so we're just going to quickly discard a card. So I'll discard Lightning Bolt right here, and then replace it with a Feint. So this requires Deception Purchase, and then damage for 1 card you played this turn may be dealt anywhere on 1 encounter's damage track. So that's pretty neat. And now we're back to where we should be. Now the half-orc is going to go. He has 2 cards in his hand, and an interesting thing is going to happen. He's going to be stunned at the end of this turn because all of the encounters totaled, they're going to deal 5 damage, and he has 1 hit point, and so he's going to be stunned. Now, normally you discard your hand and shuffle your hand, deck, and discard pile into 1 draw pile, but because the half-orc has a racial ability called Relentless Endurance, it says, when stunned, do not discard hand. So, that is very helpful because he's going to be stunned, but he does not actually have to discard his cards. He can just keep them and use them on his next turn. Now, that's actually what he's going to do. He's not actually going to play any cards. He's just going to let the enemies hit him. So, he is going to lose 5 hit points. So now he's stunned. He's going to take an exhausted token. And he's not going to discard his hand, but he's going to shuffle up his deck and discard pile. So I'll do that. And then he's only going to be able to draw 1 card at the end of his turn because he is exhausted, as well as not be able to buy anything. If, on his next turn, he is dealt any damage, then he will be knocked unconscious, and he's going to be out of the rest of the scene. But since this is the last scene, he's just going to be out of the entire game. Pretty much. So, we don't want that to happen. And I'm not sure it will. So I'll draw a single card. And it's Glory. And he's not going to be able to buy anything. He doesn't have to cycle the market or anything like that because he's stunned. Then the wizard is going to be able to go. And he has a fair bit of cards. So the first thing he's going to do, he's actually going to play these 2 cards in front of the swarming zombies, so that he's going to be able to defeat these swarming zombies. He is going to play any card. He'll just play the stealth here, and he's going to use that to take out this token. And that is going to be all the cards he's going to play. So he's going to be able to take down the swarming zombies and this token right here. So the swarming zombies have a payout of 5 gold, so we'll take 5 gold. And even though the half-orc is stunned, he still gets his gold, which is actually not that great because now he's not able to use it, but he still has it. All these cards are going to be discarded, and then there's no one in front of the wizard, because I just took them all out, so no damage is going to be dealt to the wizard. I'm going to draw 2 cards. We have a Bless and a Cantrip. Then I will remember to purchase cards now. So we have a total of 7 gold. So we actually could have purchased that lightning bolt. Oh well. So I'm going to purchase Flaming Oil. That's going to cost 3, and the thing that makes this card so great is because it's going to deal 2 damage to everyone in front of 1 player. Then we're going to replenish the market, and it's going to be another Command Presence. And we have 4 gold. So I could buy Command Presence, but I think I'm going to pay 3 and get this Arguary here. So this is going to do 2 damage, and there's a chance that I'll be able to alter the future, but I'm not. I'm really just going in that for the money, or the damage, rather. And that's a Cloud of Daggers. And then the Goblin Uprising card is going to be discarded, and now a new card is revealed. Dark Arts. Dark, distant chanting, as if 100 voices screaming miles away, walks a cold chill up your spine. The words darken your vision as your enemies rally, filled with new and terrifying power. Each non-humanoid, non-location encounter heals 1 level. Then, the attack strength of each non-humanoid, non-location encounter increases by 1. Now, the first part, all these guys we have not actually done any damage to them, so that's not going to do anything. Then, their attack strength is going to be increased by 1. That is actually going to take place, and now, yeah, everything's just tougher. So that's not great. So, let's see, what do we want to play? Well, I think that we'll play this Grace here. I'll take on the first level of the Soaring Skeletons. Then, I will play this Bless to take down the second level. So the Bless would do 1 blue damage to this Soaring Skeleton, which will take that out. Then, I'll play these 2 cards and take out this token here. Now, that's not actually going to end up mattering, as you'll see, but I'll just do it, just to do it. So, I will take down the Soaring Skeletons and then this token during the deal damage phase. So that's 4 gold payout. So that's going to be 2 per player. Alright. Then, the Storming Zombies, as well as this little Goblin token, they're going to knock him unconscious. So now, he's going to shuffle up his deck again, but now he's not going to be able to draw anything, and not be able to play anything or buy anything, but the enemies also move over to fight the wizard now. So now that the fighter is down, they're going to take out the wizard. So, now it's the wizard's turn. Let's see if he can do it. So, I'm going to play this Flaming Oil. It's going to do 2 damage. It's going to do 1 colorless damage and 1 black damage to each encounter. So I'll knock out this guy right here, and it'll take on the first level here. Then I will just play these 2 cards. This card right here, this cantrip for a blue, and then this Arguary here for a green. The colorless damage, it's nice, but I don't need it. And that'll take down the Swarming Zombies. So, deal damage, and I'll be able to take out both of these people. So, monsters. And so now, there are no more monsters. So the scene ends. And what is special about this scene ending is that there are no more scenes after it. And we have won the game. So now, we can look on the back here and see what happens now. So, completing the adventure, we have just completed the adventure because we completed the 3rd scene, and then you can award XP and magic items. So, for each scene that you start, each player receives 1 XP. If the party completes the entire adventure, the players each receive a bonus of 2 XP, for a total of 5 experience points. So, because we have done everything, we're going to get 5 XP. Now, I'm going to show you in a bit what you can use your experience points for. Then, the standard rules apply for awarding magic items. So let's see how we do that. So I'm just going to clean up some things here, and then I'll be back to show you how all this really cool campaign stuff works. Alright, so at the end of each game, you get to do a couple of things. First, you're going to clean up everything and reset it all. And so, for example, the wizard here, as well as the fighter, each have their decks reset to their starting values of different cards. And so that's not going to be persistent. The cards you buy from the market deck, such as this Heroic Charge or the Perception card here, those are going to be put back into the deck at the end of each game that you play. So you're not going to just keep the cards you buy are just going to be for that one game. But there are several things that you do get to keep. For example, the Dungeon Crawl Adventure card told us to get a total of 5 experience points. Now, you're going to be able to record that on any piece of paper that you like, or anything, or you can use the little XP slot that is provided for you on the board, and you could write in a dry erase marker your XP values. Anyway, you're going to keep track of the amount of experience points you have. Each game, you're going to usually get around 5 experience points. That's kind of the average, but there are some things that you can do. For example, right here you have some optional scenarios that you can make it harder for you, but you also get more experience points. but the average is about 5. You have all these different stickers here, and these are just like the original background stickers that we were able to get, the different features, but these are much more powerful and they cost something. So we have a bunch of stickers here that are all different features, and so let's go through one right here. All right, for example, this one right here. This is Herbalism. So this costs 10 experience points. So you need to have 10 experience points to spend on this to get this feature. And then when you do, once per game, you can pay 3 gold to have a character heal 1 hit point. So that can be kind of helpful. Or, now that one's kind of a generic one, but you have some things like this flexibility right here, or this constitution. You have flexibility here and constitution here. The thing is, with this, it says requires half-orc, and this one requires human or half-elf. So these are racial specific features. So for the constitution, it costs 20. Increase your starting hit points by 1. So now your maximum hit points for the half-orc fighter is now 11 if you have this. And then for the humans, if you have flexibility, continuous, increase your starting hand by 1. So the races become more different as you get more features, but then you also have some class-specific features. So, for example, the fighter here, this has the fighting style sticker, a bunch of different fighting styles to choose from, and this one is the defense fighting style. It requires a martial class, so this is actually not specific to fighters, but barbarians can also get this feature. It says, during your turn, discard 2 glory cards to have an encounter deal -1 damage. Does not require a feature slot, and this costs 10. So you have all these different features that you can spend experience points on, and you can place them on your feature slots here. So if I got a sticker, I could place it on one of these 6 slots, and the more features you buy, the more expensive it gets to open up the new slots, but I won't get into all of that. But you're going to be able to, as you play, you're going to get new skills. You have generic skills, like I showed you, that herbalism one that anyone can use. You have racial skills that, like the flexibility, that only humans or half-elves can use, or the constitution that only the half-orcs can use. And you also have class features that only specific classes or class types can get. And you have some like subclasses where the wizard becomes an illusionist, and so you have different things you can do there. Like I said earlier, I don't really like to put my stickers on the physical boards. If I do a review of this game, then I will tell you guys why, but what I do is I have all of these index cards cut in half with the features on them. And so these are some of the wizard-specific features I have. So you have the illusionist that I was talking about, and then you have different features that only illusionists can purchase. And you have all sorts of really cool stuff here. And this is just how I decided to use my features. So when I purchase this costs 25 experience points. I'll just take this card and place it by my character as I play, and then I'll be able to use it without having to permanently alter the game. That's experience points and what you do with that, and that's really cool, but you also have these magic items. So, you have 4 different rarities, and I'm sure more may be introduced as time goes on, but based off of your level, which is based off your experience points, you are going to be able to draw a certain rarity and a certain number of cards. So when you're level 1, you're just going to be able to draw the top common magic item. So for this one, suppose the half-orc drew this, he'd get this Arcane Charm. Now when you play this card, it remains in play, and says, while in play, all your arcane magic items have repack, which allows you to discard them to draw a different card. Well then the wizard, let's see, he gets this Deception Charm, which is actually the same thing except for deception things. So those aren't the most powerful, but you can have some other things in there, and generally the common stuff are these little potions that you can consume to do different things. Like you may also move after your deal damage phase. So with this one, you can drink this potion and attack enemies and then run away to a different location so they can't hit you back, which could be helpful, but it has to consume, so after you use this once, it's gone, and you can't use it anymore. But in general, the common items are pretty weak. Then you have these uncommon items here, which are much cooler. You can have just tons of different things, and these are not generally consumable. You have this one summoning gem that is really powerful, but like it does 1 red damage, but you can consume it to do an additional 3 damage, 1 colorless on, or 2 colorless on 1 red, and then that encounter also skips its next attack. So that one, it's weaker, but then you can make it do really cool stuff, but then it goes away. Or you have shields, and you have all sorts of really cool stuff in the uncommon deck. But then, even cooler stuff is found in the rare deck, and these things are just super powerful and fun to use. And then you even have these very rare cards, and these are weird because you have some, so I've got like 6 or so here, and there is no possible way to get these very rare cards. I own all of the expansions that are out for this game, and there's no way to get the very rare cards. You can get these commons really easily, these uncommons with a little bit more challenge, and then these rares are pretty difficult to get, but you can still get them. These very rares you can't get at all, even with all the expansions. In future expansions, you're going to be able to get those, but it seems weird that I have these 6 cards here that's impossible for me to do anything with. But that is kind of the campaign elements of Dragonfire. You do have some other campaign stuff, such as you have a storybook. As you play through different scenarios, you can read different passages of flavor text. But this is all the progression that's in the game. So you have these magic items that are really cool and will, for the most part, be able to stay with you as you progress, and they'll go into your deck. And then you also have the feature stickers, which are super cool and super fun. And these are going to be able to do all sorts of really cool things and let you customize your character and make them distinct. So that is all for today. I hope you guys all enjoyed this video, and I hope you found it helpful. And I hope you guys all have a great day. Happy gaming!